Hi, welcome to this section on equation solving. Just goes through some techniques that you'll find useful in solving equations. Okay, so the method described here is the mirror method. Essentially, this method involves doing the opposite operation when you move something across the equal sign. So if something has a plus sign, when you move it across the equal sign, you make it a minus. And likewise, a minus, when you move it across the equal sign, make it a plus, and multiplication to a division, and division to a multiplication. So let's see how this technique works through a few examples. Okay, first example here, we've got x plus 7 equals 10. So we need to solve for x here. So what we need to do is to get the 7 to the other side. So that's plus. So it's got plus 7. So when we bring it to the other side, it becomes minus 7. And there we are, we solved it. Let's look at the next one here. So once again, in this situation here, we want to get negative 4 to the other side. So the opposite operation would be positive 4. Okay, the negative is part of it. So bring it across to the other side, and it is a plus now. So our answer is 14. Okay, let's have a look at these examples. So once again, we're solving for x. So we've got 7 minus x equals 10. So we need to solve for x, so we need to get 7 to the other side. So bring it to the other side, so it'll become negative 7. So there's like a plus in front of that 7. So here we've got negative x is equal to 3. But we want to solve for x, not negative x. So what we do, you can just multiply both sides by negative 3, or just swap. That gets the x to the other side. That's using that whole mirror idea. And it makes sense too, so if you put negative 3 into the equation, it works. So here we get the same thing again. So bringing 7 to the other side comes negative 7. So we get negative x is equal to negative 3. So once again, we just mirror method again, just swap. There we are. It makes sense too. So if you put x is equal to 3 into negative x minus 3, it works. You can see that there. So that's how I deal with them. Here's an activity. Remember to pause and do the activities. Remember the solutions are in the printed section on the web page there for the course. Okay, so let's go through a few more examples here. So here we've got 4x equals 18. So that's like an invisible multiplication sign between the 4 and the x. So we do the opposite, which is division. So into your over 4. Now you can use a calculator if you want to. No, I don't really care. It's up to you. Let's look at the next one here. So it's negative 4 times x. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 4 this time. So negative 4 on here. Now it doesn't matter where you put the negative sign, up the top or bottom. Put it up the top, that's the convention. We're in the middle. Here we are, this time we've got x over 2, that's like division. So the opposite would be to multiply by 2. So when you bring the 2 over, it becomes multiplied. Here we are. There you are. answer is 14. Now here we've got negative x over 2 equals 10. What I do is just put the negative with the 2 on the bottom. Okay, so when you bring it to the other side, you bring negative 2 to the other side. So as I said beforehand, you can put the negative wherever you want to, as long as it's there, in the middle, up the top, or down the bottom. In this case, I've put it down the bottom so I can move it across to the other side fairly easily. So we're running out of room here. So we are negative 20. So be careful with those negatives. So once again, pause here. Remember the solutions are in the printed section on that web page there. Okay, so these are kind of when we've got to do more than one operation at a time. And the idea I use here when I solve these is I call it the light term idea. That means if what I'm trying to solve for doesn't have that variable in it, then I bring that term to the other side. So he really got two terms on this left hand side. He got 7x and 6. Now, the term 6 doesn't have an x in it, so I'm going to bring it to the other side using the mirror method. So that comes negative 6. So this method's all about bringing terms that don't contain what you're trying to solve for to the other side first. Remember, equation solving is a technique. It's more than one way of doing things, but this is what I do. I find it works. So collecting light terms idea works really well. Let's look at this next one. See, I'm trying to solve for here. I've got a term negative 2 there. It doesn't contain an x. So I'm going to bring that to the other side first. Now if you use this light term approach to equation solving, you'll find it works quite well. Okay, and then I'll just use what I've done beforehand. Okay, that's multiplied there, so do the opposite. Divide. It's just 3. Okay, so let's stop the video here, do these exercises. It's important that you do stop the video and do the exercises before moving on. You find that just consolidates what we've been doing. Okay, so here we've got what we're trying to solve for here. We want to solve for x. We've got terms on both sides here that equal, that contain x. So once again, this whole collect like terms idea is the best approach. So anything that's got, say, any term's got an x in it, bring it to one side. It doesn't matter what side, as long as you bring it all to one side. So I just out of habit, I always bring what I'm trying to solve for to the left hand side and everything that doesn't contain the variable to the other side. Don't have to do it like that, but you find being consistent is the trick. So let's keep on going here. Now we just swap the negatives to solve for x. So let's move on to this one here, another example. So let's move the negative 21 to one side and the 2x to the other, just like beforehand. This whole idea of like terms is the way to move forward on this one. Oops, pen working properly. Okay, doing the swapping around. Remember, change the sign, do the opposite. Yeah, that comes plus 21. Working our way through. 24. Solving. Divide by 3 here. See the mirror method in action here. There we are. Our answer's 8. So remember to do these exercises. Remember to pause.